Hi, I'm Bill Wong, and welcome to Get Close Up. Today, we're going to be taking a look at BrainChip's AI neuromorphic processing engine based on spiking neural networks. And in particular, we're going to be taking a look at the Akida AKD1000 M.2 adapter. We're going to be saying how that can be used with a platform like the Raspberry Pi 5, as well as an Asus Nook Pro 16 micro PC. The top module is the one we'll take a look at here. It's the Akida 1000, and in the lower right is the Akida 1500, which is more advanced. That module is actually cheaper. It's only $129. So it's the one I'd recommend, but all the evaluation that we're taking a look at here are applicable to both of these. The 1000 has this architecture with a Cortex-M4 to manage things, but the neuron fabric is where the spiking neural networks work. It has about 1.5 tops worth of performance, and it's interesting because the 1500 is actually spec'd at 0.8, but it's actually 10 times faster because of other optimizations. So that's really the one that you want to go for if you're going to be taking a look at it. Likewise, it only uses under 300 milliwatts of power, so it's actually a better buy. The systems are designed for embedded applications, and typically you're going to use the SPI interface shown on the left. In terms of the evaluation boards, we're going to be using the PCIe interface, so you're going to be using the configuration on the right. As mentioned, we were going to be using an Asus Nook, and you can see that the module is actually put onto a carrier because it won't necessarily fit in a standard M.2 slot like this one. So what you have to do is we have an extender that looks like this, has a little cable on it, and what you wind up doing is just attaching it into the system like so, and popping it in and then flipping it out. Of course, the challenge is that this thing won't actually fit inside because the Nook is designed to be extremely small. So I wouldn't recommend this for anything except for actual testing. But what it does do is it essentially lets me use the system as is. The module is really designed to be used with something like a Raspberry Pi, so you need a configuration like this. So we start out with the Raspberry Pi 5 module. It actually has a heatsink and fan on there, and it needs a carrier board. It's going to be connected via PCI Express connection. I have M.2 flash drive, and we're going to be putting the Akida module into the right-hand side. So I'm going to pop it in here. There's actually a PCIe switch that's going to be in there, and that's because there's only one connection coming off of the Raspberry Pi. So I'll try to get this thing put together here, and once it is, then we'll be able to pop it together and mount it up. This is what the completed system looks like. Of course, software is what it's really all about, and there are actually a number of tools that are available for this. Edge Impulse is one we'll take a look at, and it's actually a third-party platform that's web-based, and it can be used with a variety of other pieces of hardware, but in particular, we're going to be using it for brain chips. The BrainChip MetaTF and the other tools that are associated with it are command line based tools, and they work well in either Windows or Linux. So we'll be taking just a very brief look at those things. As noted, Edge Impulse is a web-based system, and you can easily configure it for an Akida configuration. The easiest way to get started is to use one of the existing projects that are out there and simply clone it. This way, you can start with something that is already configured properly. It doesn't take a lot of effort to actually configure something once you know what's going on, but these trained models already have the data put together, so then you can start experimenting with the platform and seeing how it works. Of course, if you want to test for other things, other data, you're going to have to get your own data set. You're going to then have to use the platform to configure it and actually generate an updated model. You'll notice that there's a number of plans they're going to try to get you to use. One of the key things is that you can't use a GPU to do the training unless you have one of the more advanced plans. I just started one of the free ones and wound up using one of the clones, so that worked out a little bit better for me.